Hello and welcome to Database Management Systems. I'm Chavita Christie, and in this video, I'm going to explain to you how you can combine two tables in order to take a join between them, and that way you can get results using a combination of tables instead of just one table. So let's begin. The first query that I'm going to do is given right here on the top of your screen. It says, find the names of all people who work in the consulting department. Now, this query seems fairly simple, and you might be tempted to just go to the employees table and type in the dept code. So you might just write the query as select star from employees where dept code equal to CNSLT. But this, however, won't give you it will give you the correct answer, but this is not what is expected. Because in the question, it's clearly mentioned to mention names of all people who work in consulting department. It is not mentioned that find all employees with dept code CNSLT. So ideally, you are not supposed to have this information that joins the dept code CNSLT with consulting. And so you would have to take the help of the departments table to do this query properly. This is the departments table where you can see that the name consulting belongs to the code CNSLT. And then you can use this and find CNSLT in employees. And when you find it, you can know that these employees are working in consulting department. So as you can see, we require two tables, not one. And so we have to take a join. So to take a join, we'll write the query in this manner. First of all, we will select whatever we require. We require the names of people. So let's take the first name and the last name from employees. Both are available in employees, but we require the departments table also because in the where clause, we are going to use it. So we're going to write here, I'm going to move to the next line and write here from employees join departments because I need two tables. Now this is not enough. Once I do that, I need to specify based on what I'm taking the join. So if you see the previous table, employees, it contains a column called dept code, and you can't see it here fully, but it is dept code. And from the departments table, there is a column called code. So these two are common between both the tables. And so here in the query, you will write down on, then you mention the column of employees, which is dept code, and you write down equal to code, which is from departments. So this ensures that both the tables will be joined, natural join will be performed based on these two columns by matching these two columns. Once you've written this much, then you can write down where. In the where clause, we want the name to be equal to consulting. So here you'll write down where name equal to consulting. So what a join basically does is it gives you one table by combining several tables. So now when you do employees join departments, you're not working with just employees or just departments. You're working with a big table that contains all 5 columns of employees and all 4 columns of departments, and they are merged together based on the dept code column. So wherever dept code is matching, those rows are merged. For example, here there is admin, and here also there is admin. So the first row of employees will be merged with first row of departments. And that's how the join works. And let's hit enter. And you can see it gives me two names, Suzy Software and Abe Advice, which are two employees working in consulting department. So that's how you can use a join to solve this type of a query. Let's see the next query. The next query says, find names of all people who work in the consulting department who spend more than 20% of their time on the project with ID ADT for MFIA. Now, what does that mean, first of all? Before I do that, let's clear the screen. And in this, the question says that you need to find people who work in consulting department, which means I can use what I wrote earlier. But there are additional conditions here which say that they should be spending more than 20% of their time on the project with ID ADT4MFIA. Now, where do I get this information? I can get it from the works on table, which is here. So from this table, I can get the assigned time, employee ID, and project ID. And from here, I can know how much time is assigned to which employee on which project. And which means I need to join this time, but I need to join 3 tables, not 1. So first, let's find all the employees from the consulting department. So I'm going to select the first name and the last name from employees. Let's take that to the next line. So from employees, join departments on, just as before, we are going to write dept code equal to code. Now, in order to get the assigned time and project ID, I need to include works on also. So after this point, we are going to write down join works on as well, because we need 3 tables. So join works on. Now, based on what are we taking this? So works on contains employee ID and employees also contains employee ID. So we can say that that is the common column, and based on that we can take a natural join. So we need to specify this column's name, and this time we will not be using on, but we'll be using the keyword using. The reason for this is that both works on as well as employees contain a column named employee ID. But in the previous join that we took here, the column names were different, and that's why we had to use the keyword on. Here we are using the keyword using. Now, once that is done, I need to specify certain conditions. The first condition is that the department should be consulting. So the name of the department, these are all where conditions. So remember that you do select, then you do the from clause where you specify all the joins, and then you will write the where clause with all the conditions. So the name is equal to consulting. The next condition is that the time assigned to this person, to these employees, must be greater than 20%, which means it will be 0.2 if you divide 20 by 100. That's just the way we have stored the data. So that's why it's 0.2. And one last thing, last condition, is that they should be working on the project ID ADT for MFIA, and semicolon, hit enter. This is what you get. Abe Advice is the employee. And since we've done this, we can also go ahead and verify it. How do we verify it? By checking all the tables one by one. The first table we will check is the employees table. So select star from employees. The second table we require is the departments table. Star from departments. And the third table was works on. So works on. Now, first, let us see departments table. From departments table, we found out that the name consulting belongs to the dept code CNSLT, which then helps us to go to the employees table and find out where CNSLT is. And that gives us 2 employees, Suzy Software and Abe Advice, but we cannot display both. It should be employees who are working on that project called ADT for MFIA and they have the assigned time greater than 0.2. So for that, we need to check works on table. To do that, we need to get the employee IDs of these two people. Susie has an employee ID of 4 and Abe is having 5. So let's check here. 4 is working on Robo SPSE, so 4 is cancelled. 5 works on Robo SPSE as well as ADT for MFIA. And the assigned time is 0.6, which is greater than 0.2, which we mentioned. And that's why the name of Abe Advice is displayed here as a result. And so our query is correct. So that's how you can do a natural join in SQL. This is the simplest way of doing it. Now we'll move on to the next question. The next question says, find the total percentage of time assigned to employee Abe Advice. So this time I need to find how much time is assigned to the employee Abe Advice. Let's first clear all this up. Okay, so if I need to find employee Abe Advice, I would go to the employees table. And if I needed to find the time assigned to an employee, I would go to the works on table right here. So these are the two tables, employees with all this and works on with all this. Now what I need to find is how much time is assigned to Abe Advice. So we can take a look at this table and find out that Abe Advice is having an ID 5. So we can just search in works on and see that 5 is coming twice. And the assigned times are 0.5 and 0.6, the total of which would be 1.1. So that is what we need to display, 1.1. And to do that, we require both the tables, employees and works on. And so let's write the query. Here I'm going to write select and then total assigned time. So I'm going to use the aggregate function called sum and use it to add the assigned times from two tables, employees join works on, using, like I explained before, using the employee ID, because that is the common column. It's present in works on as well as in employees. So we are using that. And now for the condition. The condition is that the first name is that the name of the person should be Abe Advice, which is given to us in the question. So I'm going to write down where first name equal to Abe and last name equal to Advice. And then put a semicolon and hit enter. And you can see that it gives you 1.1 as I had explained before. Using 0.5 and 0.6, it gives you 1.1. So that's how you can implement a join in SQL. And in the next video, I'll bring you a few more queries where we are going to do a join in SQL. So I'll see you there and thank you for watching.